Hi, I'm professional organizer Marsha Sims, and I'm here with another Marsha Minute. Today's question is, I have so much to do and I can't get organized. How can I get everything organized when I can't find the time? I love this question because this question wraps us back up into the problem. And the truth is, it's like a negative circle. I don't have time, so I can't get organized. I can't get organized, so I don't have time. So how do we break out of that trap of the negative spiral where nothing ever could change if we don't get out of the trap? Well, we don't have time. We'll never have time. We have to make time or create time. So how do we create time? I mean, we're busy. We have to handle the family. We have to handle the kids. We have to handle our work. We have to handle our civic duties. We have to do all this stuff. How do we create time, Marsha? I don't have any more time. Well, maybe you need to look at it a different way. For example, of course, you're not going to have a lot of time, but you may have little snippets of time. Maybe a minute here, 5 minutes there. Do you ever take time to be sad or to regret something or to be angry? That's time. See, you're going to have to shave a little bit of time. Maybe you're doing something that you allow 20 minutes for, and it actually takes you 18 minutes. That's 2 minutes. Maybe you're doing something that doesn't need to take as much time as you give it, as you use for it. Have you ever spent time procrastinating, not doing something that you know you're supposed to do or that you need to do, and you just can't make yourself do it, so you do something else? What about time like that? Here's what you do. First thing you do is you keep a record of how your time, where does your time go? Like if you were going to do a budget, what would you do? You first list out where your money's going. What are you spending your money on? Well, you do the same thing with time. Where does your time go? What are you spending your time on? That way you can see what you're actually doing. Because if you don't take the time to do that, you'll never know where your time is going. Then keep track of what your priority items are. What do you have to do versus what you want to do versus what gets done just because you do it. You have to look for tiny spaces of time. It's just like when I'm organizing a closet with someone, I look, or especially like pantries and garages and things like that, where, things tend to be jumbled up. I look for little bits of space where maybe something can slide into. And that's how you want to think about time. Do you journal? If you don't, you should consider it. Journaling frees up mental space. And when you journal, it helps you think about things in a different way, or think about how you could reposition something or say something or respond to something. So instead of spending an hour figuring out how to write that letter, for me, I figure out how to write that letter in my journal when I can make myself journal. I'm not as consistent as I would like to be. But we're all a work in progress, every one of us. What about meditation? Have you thought about meditating? If you think you don't have time to meditate, you might want to think again. Somehow, and I can't tell you how, but somehow meditation frees up time that otherwise would be spent, filled up and I don't know, used to be agonizing over the fact that you don't have enough time. When you exercise, have you considered doubling up? For example, I try to walk every single day. Well, when I walk, that's my telephone time because I can double up. I get all my personal calls done while I'm on my walk. Sometimes I read when I walk, or I'll watch YouTube videos when I walk. Sometimes I just think when I walk. Somehow now, birds seem to be out in more abundance. And I get to notice things like that when I walk. Clutter takes up time. If you find that you have a lot of things around, that takes up time. It takes up physical space. It takes up mental space. If you find, if you are always in such a hurry that you don't take the time to put things away, that can take up time, especially, I mean, the obvious time of having to look for it to find it, but not even obvious time like that. What about just the time, the mental time, when you come in and you just feel so crowded in your head? So you don't have a place for everything. That's another issue for another Marsha Minute. We'll talk about, in another video, we'll talk about what to do, where do things go if the place where they belong is already filled up with things, which is another thing that requires thinking time, journaling time, meditating time. The most important thing to do is to allow yourself 15 minutes a day for your organizing. Just 15 minutes a day, and it's amazing. You can get everything done over time. 15 minutes a day is better than saying, I'll wait and I'll do one block of time a week. 15 minutes a day is better than that. And if you absolutely cannot squeeze out 15 minutes for that day, squeeze out 10. If you can't do 10, do 5. And the way to do it is to tag it to something. When can you do your 15 minutes? In the morning after you eat breakfast, in the afternoon after you eat lunch, right before bed, first thing when you wake up. Think about it. If you have a question for me for the Marsha Minute, please answer it. Please ask it to me below. We created a form for questions. I would love to answer your question. Thank you. Have a great day.